I don't know who needs to hear this. I might need to hear it myself later on down the line, like if I get too caught up. But you do not need to focus on any type of comments that you get from anywhere on social media. Like, it's not just about ignoring the negativity, ignoring the bad comments, but also the positive ones too. Because I try to tune it out as much as possible, but also show support, especially when I just really feel called to. But it's just because, don't you see how much social media can just switch just like that? Especially because people just don't tend to see you clearly on the internet. They don't treat you as a real person, especially as you continue to climb the ladder. More and more people know you. They start to hold you to a certain standard, especially when you move with intention. You know, people can see the good in you. They see that you have good intentions. It's like, especially more so miserable people, they will start to spin all these different narratives on you or whatever. Or even the people that did genuinely support you then, they may not mess with, you know, a certain decision that you make in the future and just, you know, completely change their support system towards you, and may even start some sort of hate train or whatever for, you know, one little mistake that you may have made. And that's only just a perceived mistake in their eyes. Like, at this point in my life, I have gotten to where I don't really necessarily see things as good or bad. What in the universe is actually good and bad? That's all just based off opinion. It's just really about the perception, to be honest. Someone can think that stealing is completely wrong, you know, people are going against the law, but another person who may have been through the struggle or whatever, who really understands how hard life can be out here, they may see that as, hey, you know, this person is just trying to take care of their family. I don't really blame them or whatever, especially if they're, you know, stealing from the white man or whatever. So people just see things completely differently or whatever. We all have different morals. So it's just, you know, really no way to pinpoint what's actually good and bad in this world, what's actually right and wrong, unless, you know, you just run off like a biblical type of things, a biblical set of rules for yourself. But that's not personally what I do. But I really had to come to the point to where I don't focus on either one of them. Before I even started making content, I would tell myself, okay, it's most likely that one day I'm going to face a time where I do receive, you know, negative comments, where people don't always mess with the stuff that I put out there. If y'all don't know, I make food content, and even with food content, especially because I be doing the vegan food, and you know how many people be roasting us or whatever for making all the different meat substitutes, like, oh my gosh, she wants to eat meat so bad, saying all these different things or whatever. And it even goes like way further than that, to where people just comment on things that have nothing to do with what's actually said in the video, in the voiceover, in the caption or whatever. People will just run with anything, always have something to say and pick at something, especially because people that do tend to project, you know, more so negatively outwardly onto, you know, these different comment sections or whatever, most of the time they're sitting at home not really doing anything with their life, or they just feel miserable within their day-to-day anyway, so they don't mind going to spread that negativity, that hate. They don't, you know, really think about, oh my gosh, how is this gonna make this person feel or whatever if I, you know, go and say this to them. They feel like, okay, I'm in America, I got freedom of speech, you know, this is social media. Social media ain't a real world, so it really don't matter. It's not like they're gonna come after me if I say X, Y, and Z. Of course, you should never really take that serious, but again, when it comes to the positivity, yes, I do agree that it's nice to, you know, give things here and there or whatever, but don't attach to it. You should never feel like, oh my gosh, I need this in order to keep going. Like, I need people to tell me that my food looks so amazing, that I'm doing such a good job, like, wow, this and that. Like, just all these different positive comments that people may say about whatever content that you do. Because once again, people can literally switch up in an instant. Do y'all see the year that Kai Cenat has had? Like, he's a prime example. You know, obviously it's very mixed. Like, he still gets a whole bunch of love. Like, he probably still gets more love than hate. But just the amount of people that completely turned on him because they're perceiving that, you know, he's all about money now or whatever, just because he's mastered marketing, he's mastered how to actually do his mafia-thons. Now people are saying that, oh my gosh, this is forced or whatever. It just seems like the more that people tend to climb the ladder and they're not necessarily holding on to the same struggle anymore, you know, they're not making the same sacrifices that they once did, or they just really master what they do, then it just starts to not feel authentic, and they don't like that. And again, they just paint all these different narratives. They started painting these narratives that, you know, I can't even think right now, but y'all know what I mean. Like, all the different clip farming or whatever that people have been doing, saying that he's money hungry, just been begging for money. I'm like, what are y'all talking about? Y'all completely ignore the fact that this man has literally decided to donate so much of this money to, different charities or whatever. Like, wasn't he trying to build a school or something too? But people don't want to talk about that. He was giving away PCs every single day too, as well. But nobody wants to point that out. They want to point out that, oh my gosh, he's being a beggar or whatever. Blah, blah, blah. He's changed. I don't like him anymore. So it's just like, the ones that will be there from day one may not be there, day 300. And, it's the same online as it is in real life. Just how you need to have a healthy level of detachment within, your friend groups and the people around you. You are not always going to be cool with the same people that, you be kicking it with, when you was back in high school. That's why so many friendships tend to fall off. Even in college too, building your college relationships, you're not going to be cool as you start to evolve. Like, let's say your friends from college, from high school, y'all used to vibe over gossiping, drinking, partying, doing stuff like that, but you decide you want something different for yourself. I'm not even going to say something better or something higher or something more, because again, what's really good and bad, like, that's just all perception. But you just decide on stuff that feels more aligned for you. It's just only natural that you are gonna not really resonate with each other anymore. You're just naturally gonna start to grow apart as you are interested in different things. And it's just like, it kind of keeps you stuck when you attach on to, those people that still do the same things, because whether you want to believe it or not, your environment does shape your personality and it shapes your habits. So it's so important to like keep that in mind. Or even if it's not a case of outgrowing each other, there's so many different conflicts that happen in real life too. Like, oh my gosh, this person completely switched up on me. They did some quote unquote fake-ish to me. So I can't really vibe with that. Or someone may spin a narrative, again, like I said, like the clip farmers be doing. Like, people can do that in real life as well and make up all these different rumors about you. And it's like, where will you be once that comes about? How will you handle that? How will you react to that? Will you be down about that for days and, completely questioning your worth? Or will you pick yourself back up and keep it rolling because you know exactly who you are? You have to really know yourself in order to be in this space. And I started, social media or whatever before I really had that confidence and self-assuredness within myself. Like, I really had to grow to have that through this. So I'm not saying that you like can't, start it or whatever. I'm not telling you what you can do at all. Like, do whatever you want to do, but you can still very much start it if you're like on a journey of getting to there, but just never lose focus of that goal. Like, that you need to get there, because, the more that you go up, especially if you're looking to have a platform that's like growing and growing, depending on what it is that you want to do. If you want to be the biggest content creator, if you want to get on social media in order to market your brand and stuff too, like, especially when it comes to that, because if you're not only a personality but you also have a brand too, where you're selling these different products, okay, people are not only judging the person that they think that you are, but also the product that you give too. And if they don't like that, then they have every right to talk out about it, speak up about it, and again, that can influence what others think of you. But at the end of the day, where is that going to leave you? Are you going to start questioning yourself? Now, of course, it is important to still have self-awareness, to where if people do point out certain things, sometimes it can be a sign like, okay, maybe I should look in the mirror. Like, if it's a crazy amount of people or whatever that's, saying the same things about me. I don't even got to be a crazy amount, but just certain things that you may not have realized about yourself. Sometimes others can help you to see that about you. But I don't know, 9 times out of 10, like, I feel like self-awareness is a thing that a lot of people can like really learn to master, to really know yourself, like I said, like better than others may be able to know you. But it's just about not allowing it to tear you down and, really get in the way of your happiness, your peace, your fulfillment. So it's just definitely important that you take your days off of being on social media constantly and reading comments, and also being on there as well when it's necessary. You have to know that you are that girl, that you are that guy, with or without the praise, with or without the hate. Could you imagine how miserable that must feel to only rely on the validation of others, and then once that completely is gone, you just don't feel good about yourself anymore? Like, no, why would you ever give someone else that power over you, that power over your emotions? You deserve to feel good about yourself. You deserve to feel good in general in your day-to-day. And you have every right to claim who it is that you are and disagree with anybody else that may be saying otherwise. Because again, like, who are they to tell you who you are, what you actually stand for, especially when people are just committed to misunderstanding you anyways. You have to be okay, be comfortable with being misunderstood. You are not going to be everyone's cup of tea. What did Amaya Papaya from Love Island say? If I'm not your cup of tea, don't drink me, or something like that. I'm not going to be everyone's cup of tea. So it's just like, be comfortable being you, being unique. And another thing too is learning how to not try to shape yourself and fit yourself into some sort of box of what people may be praising at the moment, because that can definitely be dangerous. I feel like people often do tend to make the same type of content that they see people messing with, even if it may not feel authentic to you anymore. Like, you don't want to make it anymore, but oh, that's what's getting the most amount of viewers, that's what's really making me this money, so I'm gonna continue to do this on and on, without realizing that's literally a disservice to yourself. That's not really you really aligning with your authentic self and really doing what you want to do in this life. Or even when it comes to music artists as well, they want to continue to make the same music that sold all the hits back in the day, but they want to make something different. Like Bryson Tiller, for example. So many people are obsessed with his trap soul era, but they don't really like when he does, you know, that much rap. Like, some people do mess with it. Like, a good amount of people still do mess with his rap, but they mostly want him for the trap soul vibes. Even with his most recent album was way more happy. Billie Eilish, one of her albums, Happier Than Ever or whatever, when she came out with that, people were not pleased with it because they wanted her to continue to be sad and depressed. Again, people get attached to these certain identities that you have, and they don't want to grow with you. They don't want to accept you, and people don't have to accept you. And you have to be okay with that. Just be who you are, honestly, because life is way too short to be anyone else but yourself. But I think that is pretty much the overall message. I just had to get this off my chest because it came out like super strong, like in my spirit. So yeah, keep being you, keep being confident, know yourself, and you cannot be effed with, period.